3. Granny's Surprise. Andy had no sooner hung up his sweatshirt in his cubby when he heard a familiar voice. It was a voice that Andy Shane would know anywhere. It was the voice of his Granny Webb. "It's the monarch caterpillar," said Granny to the kids who had gathered around her. Andy came closer. "Hi, Andy Shane," said Granny. "As I was walking back to the house, I found this caterpillar here. I thought you and Miss Janice might like to keep it in the Science Center." Andy knew that their field was full of caterpillars, but he was truly happy that Granny Webb had found this one. All the kids wanted to talk to Granny at once. "When will the caterpillar turn into a butterfly?" asked Marcus. "How long do monarch butterflies live?" asked Jordan. "Monarchs migrate all the way to Mexico," said Samantha. "I like your pockets, Granny Webb," said Polly. "Miss Janice, my mother told me that visitors can't come to school until October," said Dolores Starbuckle. "Why don't you join us anyway, Granny Webb?" said Miss Janice. "We're about to have morning meeting." Morning meeting? Already? Andy Shane felt like he'd swallowed a caterpillar. Miss Janice asked the class to think of action words, words that told about doing something. Dolores Starbuckle raised her hand. "Yes, Dolores," said Miss Janice. "Do you know an action word?" Dolores stood up and took the pointer from the board. "Class, today I will teach you about verbs. Verbs are action words," said Dolores. "Write is a verb, read is a verb, and so is learn. Do any of you know an action word?" No one raised a hand. Dolores looked at Andy Shane. "Andy Shane, do you know an action word?" Andy Shane slumped down on the rug. "Thank you, Dolores," said Miss Janice, but Dolores didn't sit down. "Dolores!" said Miss Janice. But Dolores had forgotten all about Miss Janice. She tapped her foot, waiting for Andy to answer. "I like action words," said Granny Webb, "and I recollect a song with lots of them." Granny stood up and sang, "A mermaid splashed with the fishes in a bay." Everyone looked at Granny. "She flipped her tail and the whale said hey," sang Granny. "Does anyone know a verb?" shouted Dolores. No one was listening. They were all watching Granny Webb dance around the room. "I said—" Before Dolores could finish her sentence, everyone, even Miss Janice, began flipping and flopping, twisting and twirling, wiggling and jiggling, and squiggling and giggling. Everyone, that is, except for Dolores Starbuckle. She was still holding her pointer and gritting her teeth.